Hello, everyone. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. Settle back, everybody. I have a great show and a great guest on the show today. You know, everybody reaches out to me at the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. They say, Jake, listen, we love it when you bring experts in business capital on the show. I mean, there's so much to learn. You know, when you have a business, whether it's a small business, a medium-sized business, or even a large business, there's so many solutions out there with regard to capital. And I wanted to thank so many people that have watched the show that said, Jake, hey, let's bring a nationwide leader on the show and let's talk about this. So I've been able to book Mr. Joe Camberato on the show today. I'm very fortunate to have Joe. He's the founder of National Business Capital. He's the CEO, of course, as well. And he has a passion for helping companies, and he's helped so many throughout his career, and he's got a great team. But without further ado, let's get right to it because I have so many questions. Joe, welcome to the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today.
Thank you, Andy. I appreciate you having me, and I appreciate all said. Thanks for having me here.
It's great to have you. I mean, you haven't funded, $100 worth of loans. You haven't funded, 1,000 or 10,000 or even $1 million or 100 million. You've secured over $1 billion worth of loans. So congratulations. Let's pull the lens back to 30,000 feet to get started and tell us about National Business Capital.
Yeah, so $1 billion, it's been a really cool, fun journey. It started at a small operation out of my spare bedroom in 2007 with, really at the beginning, just one goal and mission in mind was help small business owners access financing. And it's still our mission today. Fast forward to where we are today, which started out as this very small thing, one customer at a time, now focused on people, teams, and amazing culture with some really great technology. And we just continue to streamline the process, make it simple, and provide that access. And, we found that the reality is there's not one lender, like a one size fits all lender. And when I got started in 2007, which is weird and going to start to date me, but there wasn't a lot of lenders online. And so it was really hard to find them then. And there were all different private lenders. Some are publicly traded or just lenders or banks that are really just focused on small business. So what we do is you apply in one simple place and we match you to that right lender. But fast forward today, you search online, you type in small business loans, and a million things come up. So there's a lot of lenders out there. It's never been a better time and an easier time to access funding to grow your company, which is really amazing. And it's great to see all the innovation in the space. But it's become very complicated because there's so many different options. So we help weed through all that. And we have great technology, but the most important thing is we've got great people here that not only get the guidelines, they also understand your business. And from a very simple, fast, easy conversation, we can find out what may make sense for you or may not, explain those different options, and then very quickly get you matched the right one. And we stick with you right from application all the way through funding. And we help ensure that you get your funding in a timely manner and do what's most important and stay focused on your business.
Yeah, I love it so much, Joe. And of course, you started in your bedroom and here you are, you have a FinTech company, you're helping so many companies. Let's talk about the kind of companies that reach out to you or come in through your, technology platform or through your stack, or they reach out to one of your experts at the company. What are the types of companies that come out and say, Joe, I really could use a loan. I could use a boost. I want to invest in my company because it's a great time to invest. And I know that I can monetize my investment.
Yeah, great question. So anyone that's got revenue and is operating and is a potential customer for us. So in business 6 to 12 months or more, we like to see 1 year plus and actually have some revenues. Those revenues can be small, as little as $20,000 a month in sales. We even go less than that. But we do. Right now we're seeing a ton of e-commerce businesses, transportation, all different types of construction contractor companies. All the economy just continues. Things are getting built all over the place, from Amazon facilities to homes to commercial spaces. So we contractors constantly, doctors, dentists, restaurants, consultants. I mean, you really name it. We're even seeing more technology companies that are really scaling and growing and trying to build out tech and also hire people. So, it's a and then obviously like manufacturing, wholesale, distributing, people that are selling to, big companies like Home Depot, Walmart, stuff like that. So we're seeing a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, Joe, it's so interesting. And of course, we talk about it all the time. Everybody who's in business, you're having discussions about investments and where the best investment is and what should I invest in and should I go in the stock market or, should I invest in Bitcoin and everything else. But oftentimes, the best place for entrepreneurs to invest is right in their own business. And that's really the key because it's staring at them right in the mirror when they wake up in the morning. And of course, to get some capital from a FinTech marketplace like yours and then harness the power of the technology that you have. And of course, the number of different sort of lenders that you have on the platform is really powerful. I mean, I think you have over 75 lenders on the platform. Let's talk about that because one thing that you become known for, Joe, of course, they call it Grow by Joe. I see that, over your shoulder, but I love that, Grow by Joe. When we think about it, Joe, 75, different lenders on the platform, that's incredible. How long does the process typically take when somebody comes and they say, hey, Joe, we heard about your company. We've heard about Grow by Joe. Everybody's talking about it. We've heard you've lent over $1 billion. I want to get involved. How long does it take for them to get the funding that they need to grow their business?
Yeah, great question. And, just to, reference to, what you mentioned too, there is usually no better place than to invest in yourself as an entrepreneur. And I've seen many, and, I've invested in myself and done well. I think it's a combination of investing in yourself, but then moving some of that money outside of your business into some safe stuff long-term. It's not about the overnight successes, whether it's Bitcoin or in your own business. But, there's over 75 lenders on the platform. We are adding to those lenders if it makes sense. Those core group of lenders are like high quality lenders all across the country, and they're all doing different things. So to answer your question accurately, we do everything from SBA loans to term loans to credit lines to equipment financing and to inventory loans, factoring. So every really type of financial business loan product is on the platform, and those are made up by a number of different lenders. So if you're looking for like $250,000, not real estate backed, we have that down to a science, digital process, secure bank connection. We can have you funded in 24 to 48 hours. It's very, very quickly. It's amazing. When I first got started, that was a 20-day to 30-day process. If you're looking for an SBA loan, we work with some of the nation's leading non-bank SBA lenders. What does that mean? It means all they do is focus on SBA lending. They don't do checking and savings. They're not a bank. They don't care about the banking relationship. They want to help you with that SBA transaction, and that's it. They've got that down to a science, and so do we. And we have a proprietary calculator that very quickly we can tell you with about 95% accuracy if you will qualify for SBA. So we don't waste your time. So if you do qualify, then we'll move to documentation. We'll collect all that docs and we'll work with you and move that through the process very quickly. And we have SBA transactions down to about 30, 45 days, as long as you have all your docs together. Where, if you go to a bank, it'll take you at least 90 days to know if you're approved or declined. And then if you're approved, it's usually some time after that. So, on the SBA side, we've got that really cut down. And then, once you start breaking 250,000, $500,000, we can go up to $5 million without real estate collateral. If you've got high quality receivables, we can go up, way over $10 million if you've got the receivables and B2B receivables. So once you start breaking $500,000, $1 million, those transactions, start to take, 3, 5, 7, 10 days, sometimes 2 weeks. But they're larger transactions, and that's usually getting the approval is the easier part. Sometimes there's a little bit more decision making that goes into those type of transactions, and there's also usually something happening where they're purchasing something, buying something. There's a big picture there, so we got to get a few other. The owners have to get some other things in a row before they move to funding, and that's completely normal.
That's awesome, Joe. And of course, your entire team and your business, I mean, you've really built the entire business and have this great reputation because, you really respect your clients. You respect their time. You respect what they're trying to do. You respect their entrepreneurial spirit. You respect their companies. And it's so interesting that you do that. When we think about it, and we think about an entrepreneur reaching out to you, Joe, or one of your team members, of course, what's that conversation sound like? Do you give also some sort of direction on, the way the funding can be used, or, give them some insight on the right type of loan to take for their particular structure or their particular, time in their evolution of their company?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Andy. And I will say, myself and my team, it all, starts at the top in any business. We have the utmost respect and appreciation for business owners, small, medium, large, it doesn't matter. I started the company from zero, so I really know what it takes. And I have a lot of respect for all business owners in every type of industry. Being an entrepreneur is not an easy thing, even though, you look on YouTube and social media today, and there's a lot of people say everyone should just become an entrepreneur and it's easy. It's a hard thing. So we have a lot of respect, and we really respect people's time. And, I'm not a CEO that was dropped into this company and never started anything from nothing. So it's made me resourceful and made me really respect other owners. My team knows that. We talk about it constantly. So our whole goal is to make owners' lives easier and speed things up, and so they can focus on what they do best, and that's their business. And most owners, the reality is, you can be the best trucking business in the country, or have the best contracting business, or be the best tech guy, or be an amazing doctor. But the reality is, most people don't get financing. They don't know the products that are out there, the guidelines. They don't know any of this stuff. And that's okay. Like, you're great in your business and you're in the day-to-day and you're rocking, and financing's constantly changing. Guidelines are changing. Lenders are shifting their focus. We do so much volume. A lot of times they don't even tell us, but we do so much volume, we just figure it out. So what my team is really good at, and where we put all of our focus is, we really have a conversation to understand, what is your business? What are you trying to accomplish? Where are you right now? Where you're trying to get to? And then from that, we explain, why a credit line may make sense, why a term loan, can make sense in this example, or an SBA loan. So, sometimes people come to us, and a lot of times people want a revolving line of credit, which is great. Every business should always have a revolving line of credit. You don't know when things could change. Hence what we just went through with COVID and a pandemic, right? So, but if you're acquiring a company, people come to us and need a credit line. I want to buy this business, but that may be a term loan or an SBA loan, because you have a nice length of time to repay it, and it's structured. And then you can even sometimes also have a revolving line of credit and keep that separate for things that you may need when you actually acquire the business. So, we talk through those situations and explain why something may make sense or not. We have people come to us in the same thing. Another example, I want to buy a piece of equipment. I need a credit line. Like, whoa, no, let's look at equipment finance. So you could finance over 5 years. It's a nice monthly payment. You can utilize the financing and still depreciate the asset, the full value or the purchase price of it year one. Those are things you could talk about with your accountant. But if, by using equipment financing, you don't lock up other areas of your business, cash flow, and put a UCC in your receivables, it's all tied to the equipment. So now your cash flow is unencumbered. So you can go do a term loan or a credit line, and maybe use it to, now you've got this equipment. Maybe you have to hire a new employee or do some marketing around it. You can use a credit line for that to get that, that equipment to work and driving money into the business. So these are the conversations that we're having every day.
I love those conversations because, you're really using technology to provide a simple, fast, and really transparent process for your customers. But at the same time, you've got this high level of human intelligence also. So you're sort of, also using the human being, the highly trained people at the team to sort of, guide your clients and let them know the different options. So you've got this great combination, this yin and yang going on, and I love it so much. It's a great way to go. Hey, Joe, let's talk about entrepreneurship.
Our customers do too. So
exactly. Yeah, it's a great combination. I mean, what you've been able to build there is just incredible at National. Let's talk about entrepreneurship because, people are listening to the show, Joe, and they're saying, wow, this guy, he's been at it for a number of years. He started in his, bedroom, in 2007. Here he's built this great company. Everybody knows about Grow by Joe. When we think about it, okay, and we think about what's going on and we think about entrepreneurism, sometimes we have these younger entrepreneurs and they watch the show, of course, and they get a little freaked out sometimes when they hit a roadblock. They get a little frozen in the frame. Maybe they've never hit a wall before. They don't know what to do. But I'm hoping maybe based on your experience, Joe, you could talk to the younger entrepreneurs watching the show today and tell them what it takes to get through those roadblocks and why those roadblocks are important and how to come out the other side, having the feeling that you should be happy that you had those difficulties and you came through them in a powerful way.
Yeah, well, I've never freaked out with owning a business ever. It's been a walk in the park. Everything's been easy. I wish that was true. And obviously that was a joke. And in the earlier years, I definitely used to freak out a lot more. Knowing what I know now, I wish I didn't. The things that I tell myself, I mean, the biggest thing in your business is going to be mindset and execution. It's all about your mindset. And if you don't get that mindset in check and into the right place and put your fears in check, you can't be driven by fear and you can't show up with a bad mindset. If you do, you probably will fail. And most people will fail. It's all mindset and it's all fear. And I take that really seriously. I don't say it lightly. And there's other things I do, whether it's working out and meditation to keep myself in check. But, I think something I share with other, entrepreneurs, and a good entrepreneur shared this with me when I was going through some tough times growing the company in the beginning and hitting roadblocks and landmines were going off and everything else. Was like, you don't have cancer and you're not dying, like everything is solvable. And, most of your challenges are opportunities to be better and improve. And if you take that approach, and it's not easy, like things are going to happen. You're going to be like, what the F? But you got to like pull yourself out of the emotion and like say, all right, I'm not dying. Let me figure this out. And when those challenging situations happen, and they still happen, I've been doing this for 14 years. Like if you're growing and doing good things, like there's always challenges, always roadblocks. That's a part of being an entrepreneur. Like we're here to turn challenges into opportunities and to fight through them. So I think anticipation is another really good thing to be focused on. You need to, if you're focused on anticipating what could happen and expecting things to happen, like I expect things to happen and I'm ready to solve them versus when things happen, freaking out, so anticipation, I think, is key to success as well, too.
That's a great advice. And for the younger entrepreneurs watching the show, rewind what Joe just said. He gave you a little sort of Harvard MBA there about entrepreneurship. And it's so important because, of course, Joe knows and I know, and all the entrepreneurs that, are on the show, we know that if you're not hitting those roadblocks, you're just not pushing hard enough. So if you don't hit any roadblocks along the way, the real problem is you're not pushing hard enough. And that's really a remarkable lesson to learn. Joe, before we go, let's talk about team. Let's talk about how important it is to surround yourself with the right people, how important it is to surround yourself with mentors and people that, you can look up to, or any entrepreneur can look up to get the type of advice necessary to build a business.
That's everything. The team is everything. Surrounding yourself by good people is everything. Other business owners, proximity is power. I'm a part of Young Presidents Organization, which is just awesome entrepreneurs, business owners. And, before I was able to join that org, there's other orgs. I've always sought after, people who were successful and tried to, model them and would ask them for advice. And you'd be surprised. So many business owners they've gone through it. They love helping other energized, motivated people and that want to be a better business owner. Like I'm happy to help anybody. I love it. And it really is everything. Your team's everything. In the beginning, there's two great books that I'll recommend. One is called The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, and it just talks about building processes and people. And then the other one, when you actually do all that and build that process and get to a great place, is Traction by Gino Wickman. and we run our business on EOS. So, in the beginning, you're going to do everything. In the beginning, I did everything from take the garbage out to process applications to 1 o'clock in the morning, to the marketing, to the accounting, to the bookkeeping. I mean, you wind up doing it all. I wish earlier on I understood the power of building out repeatable processes. And in every business that's different. So there's not a blanket answer for that. But you as things get going, and the most important thing is cash flow, sales, you got to drive revenue in. But then you get to a point where more sales doesn't equal more success and profit. It can actually create more challenges. So you've got to build out those processes to handle the more sales, but then you got to train, people, and you have to start replacing the things that you're doing. But it's not an easy thing in the beginning. And it's really, it's not you just snap your fingers and have all these people in place. Like, and even if you went out and raised a bunch of money, you still have to take the time, and you can only do so much in a year to put those people in place, train them, and hire the right people to take over all the things that you're, probably holding on to. I wish I learned earlier to release things. There were so many things in the business that I used to say, no one could do this and no one could do that. Well, now those things that I used to say no one could do, there's been 10 employees over the years that have, 10 different employees who have done those things. So, it doesn't happen overnight. People underestimate what they can do in a year. They overestimate what they can do in 5 and 10.
I love it, Joe. It's so interesting, so fascinating. A couple of great books that you mentioned there. Of course, you run on the EOS system, so congratulations on that. And of course, you're doing some great work for the community as well. You feed so many people through Feeding America. That's another sort of highlight of your company. For every loan that you fund, you take care of so many people. And Joe, this is just a remarkable business you've put together. I wanted to thank you so much for coming on the .com magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight series today. I mean, of course, we've got Grow by Joe, over $1 billion secured, national business capital. I mean, it says it all. I wanted to thank you. It's been a real honor to have you on the show, and we look forward to bringing you back on the show because I want to talk a little bit more about your entrepreneurial journey when we have more time. But right now, Joe, this has been awesome. Thanks so much for coming on the .com magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight series today.
Thank you very much, Andy. And thank you guys for watching. Be well and keep growing.